who obviously was involved in this case. He's joining us now from the newsroom. And Mr. Padilla, let's get your reaction. Obviously, this is a very emotional day for many people.
It's very sad. Obviously, having been involved in the situation, not knowing the little girl, you still get emotionally tied up with the situation. And I was sitting in Mr. Morgan's office at the time that the announcement was made, and it's one of those times when you'd rather be wrong than right. But now that everybody knows the truth of the matter, I got to tell you, it's a situation which has to have stages of finalities. Now we know it was the little girl. Now they go on to the next stage, and a lot of people are going to be talking about mistakes that were made by the sheriff's office and all that. Well, that's not true. The sheriff's office can't be blamed for anything except bringing the body home. And I got to tell you, when Sheriff Barry was up there, he was very emotional. And a lot of the other investigators, I can tell you, are very emotional about it because they became attached to the little girl. We all have daughters at one time or another, and it's just a very sad thing. But you have to go on to the next stage now.
Mr. Padilla, you have been very outspoken during this whole investigation, and you had some thoughts of your very own about, who the child might be. And do you feel now that you have vindication for what you've been saying all along?
Well, there's a lot of things that happen, and I've been doing this for 33 years, and most of the time I can actually tell you that we're somewhat in the mix as far as being right, but there's times we've been wrong. But more than often, we are correct in our assumptions and things of that nature. So when we put them out ahead of other people, they just don't sometimes understand or don't believe or don't want to believe, mainly. And it's not like we're cold-hearted or hard-bitten. I've told people we operate in a corner of hell where these things are things you talk about on a daily basis. But from the time that they announced the results, I was confident that it was the little girl that had met her death and that she'd been in the trunk of the car. And when they announced on the 11th that they thought they'd found a body in the field, I was 100% sure that that was her.
Mr. Padilla, I'd like to get your thoughts on that utility worker. Yesterday we learned that he not only called in the tip last Thursday, but also 3 times in August.
My concerns are twofold. One, regarding the situation, the whole situation, how it took place, how it came about. The other one, obviously, is going to be a situation that's going to be addressed by the watch commander and the deputies that actually went out on the scene. I really can't comment in detail on any of it right now.
Let me ask you this. Initially, you were the one that put up the bond for Casey Anthony. And, of course, you've since changed your mind, if it will. Are you sorry that you did that in the beginning?
Well, obviously, anytime you spend money and you're wrong, you wish you hadn't. At the time, we really thought that she would take us to a live child. It was only 2 days later when we thought that, when she ran me out of her house and says, I don't want to be talked to like by a cop, At that time, I thought, well, it don't look good. And 4 days later, when she herself was sitting there and the results came in from the FBI lab, and basically she made the statement that a lot of people had access to her trunk. At that stage of the game, I didn't care whatever she said. Whatever she said was a lie. There was no way it was another body in that trunk. It was her daughter's body. And obviously I was like, okay, now here's another one of these where you've made a mistake. Now what are you going to do? Well, my only statement to her as I left the house was, I'm going to find Caylee one way or another, with or without your help. I'm glad that Caylee will be home, and I offer my condolences to the grandparents. I think the victim is Caylee, but also the grandparents. They love that child. You cannot imagine how many people have stated when they saw George pulling her down the sidewalk in a little wagon. The way Cindy and George were around her constantly, their whole thing was a hope against hope that it wasn't Caylee. But myself and other individuals, we pretty well knew that it was.
You certainly have been very close to this investigation. We know that you mentioned earlier in our interview that you were at Morgan & Morgan. Can we ask why?
It had to do with the depositions they were preparing on the Zenaida case. They're they're representing her in a case, and they had some questions regarding what we knew as to the connection between Zenaida and Caylee. And at the time we were sitting there, they also mentioned they were canceling the depositions of the Anthonys, which I thought was it was a real good thing for the Morgan firm to do to cancel those depositions. It's just nothing legal to go forward with right now. So I listened to Tim as he was instructing people to cancel depositions. But we were there because he had some questions of us as far as what we had run across, which tied Caylee to the Sawgrass to Zenaida.
We haven't heard much about Zenaida for a little bit now. Is she figuring prominently in this case?
Well, no. The thing about it is that I think already Caylee has taken and said that it was a different Zenaida Gonzalez, not the Zenaida Gonzalez that she did not meet at the Sawgrass Apartments. So in that light, I'm sure that the Morgan law firm will be, like I say, in the civil action, will be taking Caylee to task, so to speak, for having gotten Zenaida involved.
All right, Leonard Padilla, we certainly thank you very much for speaking with us and giving us your thoughts on what has happened on what has to be a very sad day for everyone involved.
It is.
Thank you.
It definitely is. Thank you.